G'day folks, today we're going to be making mussels. We do fettuccine and mussels actually every Monday night. It's our Monday night special at Paulie's. Again, very simple dish that we like to prepare, get prepped ahead of time so that when it's time to hit the line and orders start coming in, that all of our items that we need cleaned and prepped are ready to go so we can move those things along. We work in a very small, tight kitchen, so with no reservations, meaning, you know, we can get hit with a busload of people, which happens, and we have to bust and move out that food as quick as possible. Whereas you have staggered reservations, you kind of know what's coming in, you can prep for how much food you need, but we're always prepping for the worst and hoping for the best. And so Mondays we have mussels, which are some of my favorite proteins from the sea. We only do it on Monday because I like to have it fresh. I know that, you know, everything that came in was live for the most part, and we go through those and discard anything that looks bad. You know, so I know that we're selling that out and we're using all of those. We don't have to worry about, you know, what does it look like the next day? What does it look like the day after that? So it's a reason why I only like to do it one day a week. So it's in, it's fresh, and it's out. And if we don't sell out, then we cook them and eat them at the end of the day, or we give them away for staff. But I want those things as fresh as possible. So the first thing you do, the most important thing you do with mussels is prepping and cleaning. Again, you know, a lot of things I'm gonna do here are things that you can do from home that I get from HEB. I bought a 2-pound bag of mussels from HEB. You know, most of them are pretty good size. They're not the smallest I've ever seen. They're not the largest I've ever seen. But they're good for at home. And as we get into colder months in October, November, we'll start to see a better quality of mussel. We'll see some big ones. We get some really big ones in the restaurant sometimes. But they're alive. We're dealing with a live animal, and so we want to cook them live. And so there's signs of, you know, ones that aren't doing good, you know, cracked shells we get rid of. Then we have to clean the beard. So I'm gonna show you a couple things that we go through to make sure that what we're serving you are live. All right, so I've been soaking these guys in fresh water because they are live. And what will happen is when they're in water, they slowly kind of open and close, which kind of helps clean out any grit or salt from the sea or sand, you know. So we just want to we put them in fresh water probably 30 minutes before we even start to clean them, just to kind of get the inside grit out. Because if they start to open up in the saute pan and, you know, they release some grit or extra salt from the sea, then it's going to be really salty. And they already have a natural salinity to them, so to me that's good enough. You know, we don't want anything else, you know, you're going to bite into and ruin your palate. So most of these look pretty good, but I did pull out a few samples. Something we do is we call pull out the beard. So this is a little beard, they call it, but it's real easy to discard. You just kind of grab it, pull it towards the nose. And for the most part, they come out pretty good. And I just put it here on a paper towel that I'm gonna throw away later. So once they're cleaned like that, we go through the whole bag, we go through every single one and do this. This is where the prep time comes in. We do all the hard prepping ahead of time, so when it's time to cook, we're not dealing with these things. I also got a couple examples of what we get rid of. You can see this one is kind of broken. You know, the shell is busted. And so we don't want to cook that. There's no telling how long that one's been dead. This one is a little bit, you know, cracked as well. We don't want to take our chances in the restaurant. So we get rid of that one. And this one's open. If it's alive, they should stay dead. Now there are occasions where it's breathing and it's trying to clean out its air, and if sometimes you kind of push it together and it stays closed, it means it's still alive. This guy's not staying closed, so we get rid of that one. And then what we have left, you know, after we clean those, there should be black and shiny and pretty. If there's any barnacles or any extra, you know, growths or things stuck to the outside, those should be scrubbed. Literally scrubbed with a cleaner. You know, not soap, just something where you can scrub them clean and they're real shiny and clean, and there's nothing that's gonna come off in your saute pan, okay? So I'm gonna go through this whole thing, and then we're gonna come out with our end results, and we're gonna saute. All right, we're all cleaned up. We didn't have very many casualties, you know, we had 4 or 5 out of, you know, this was a 2-pound bag from HEB, so that's a pretty good ratio. We're never gonna have 100% live. You know, we get a 10-pound bag at the restaurant, and hopefully we have at least 9 pounds that we can work with. So we're happy to throw out the dead ones. We don't want to serve anything that could be potentially dangerous or not live. You know, that's what makes them so juicy and beautiful, is when they're cooked live like that. So, all right, so mussels are clean. Got a little bit of prep, got my garlic prepped, got my dry white wine. At the restaurant we use dry sherry. I don't have any dry sherry at home, but I do have dry white wine. So, oh, also I got green onions. What that means is, what you get at the restaurant is even better what we're making today. We forgot the green onions and the dry sherry, and we're gonna go get some rosemary from my plant. And the rosemary and the dry sherry are really nice together. So that's why I like to do that at the restaurant. Pot of boiling water, you know how we add salt. Handful of salt for about 2 or 3 quarts. Salt, handful of salt. We're gonna get that melting, dissolving in the water. I got some olive oil that's warming up. We're gonna put the garlic in there, soften the garlic. Add, I'm gonna add about a pound of mussels at a time. Get those going, and then while that's going, I'm gonna go out and get some rosemary. All right, came back with some pretty good rosemary. Rosemary is gonna be really the dominant flavor in this, combined with the salinity and the juiciness and meatiness of the mussels. You even see that at the restaurant, the pasta even takes on the flavor of the rosemary. So I add some garlic here, kind of softening up. I'm gonna start adding my mussels. My olive oil has been over medium, so it's getting pretty warm. I just want to fill up the surface of that saute pan. All right, so right away you might see a few open, but it might take time, 5, 7, 10 minutes for them all to open. And we're gonna do a couple different things along the way. I want covered in that hot oil so they start to cook and open. I'm gonna let that go for a couple minutes, and we're gonna add the sherry to deglaze it. Dry white wine here. And then kind of place those rosemary sprigs kind of under everything, into the liquid under the mussels, so that we're making sure that flavor is being infused in all of the liquid. They're also gonna be letting out some of that water that they had inside of them. So I like to leave the top off so that water kind of dissipates, evaporates off. Otherwise it might be a little bit watery at the end. Up to you. You can definitely cover them and steam them, which might help them open up a little bit more. Personally, I like to let any kind of that water evaporate off. So most of them are already opening, which is a good sign. All right, so I'm gonna add the wine or sherry if you have it at home. Just any really quality dry sherry. You don't want any sweet sherry. You don't want that. You kind of want that almondy dryness. Again, with that rosemary is gonna be pretty yummy. All right, that wine was room temp, so it brought the temperature down a little bit. You give it another minute, and we'll bring that temperature back up. Then I'm going to shove these kind of underneath I ran into my pet squirrel outside, so I had to feed him some peanuts while I was trimming the rosemary. Man, that is very pretty. So again, really simple. You know, everything I'm going to try to do on these shows are from the book. Most of it can be done from HEB. You know, I'll do my best to, you know, if it's not exactly what we would use in the restaurant, something, you know, that you can find at HEB, so we can all do this at home. Started with garlic. I would start, if I had green onion, I would start with garlic and green onion sauteing in olive oil to soften it. Then I added the mussels while the oil was hot, kind of coated those mussels in that warm oil so they would start to open up. Added your alcohol, whether it's dry sherry or dry white. And then added the rosemary sprigs. You want to make sure they're submerged. You don't want to drop them on top, really, because you're not really getting the best value out of that. I like to slide them under the bottom into all the juices so that's all kind of flavored out. And our pasta's just about done. So I'm confident that once they're opened, they're ready. There's no, you know, time that you have to cook them to 15 minutes past they're open. If there's one or two, you know, still not open yet, you give it another minute or two, but you gotta realize you don't wanna overcook the ones that are open just to get one or two open. Sometimes we'll just throw those out, because that might mean they're dead if they never opened. So once they're open, they're ready, you know. But you want them all to be open. So I don't see any that aren't open. Which is good. We got, you know, got our bang for our buck on that load. So now, once pasta is done, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to drain the pasta. Add the pasta directly to the saute pan. Okay, make sure we've got enough juices in there that the pasta's not going to stick to the saute pan and start getting fried by the saute pan. We'll just add it to the liquid. Always, every pasta dish we have, we add our pasta directly to the saute dish at the end. Mix that and then bowl it. Okay, we're not adding pasta to the bowl and then pouring it over. We want to make sure that pasta is incorporated into the dish as a partner, right? Ooh, it smells good. All right, pasta's ready, drained. Like I said, I'm going to add it directly to the saute pan. Give that a toss. We're going to let those guys get to know each other for a second. Make sure they're on the same page before we put it into a bowl. I can tell you it smells delicious. We have rosemary, and if it was sherry in here, that'd be even another level. If there was green onions in here, it would be even another level. As subtle as that sounds, I mean, subtlety is my favorite. If something's wrong or doesn't taste right, I try to remove something before adding something else. All right, fire off. So we're gonna try to drag the pasta in first, and so that the mussels kind of fall on top. Rosemary on top. Now, just because there's still liquid in the pan, you don't have to use all the liquid. If that's a little bit too much for you, it's up to you. There's a little bit of sauce in here, and that's really all you need. But if you want more, you're welcome to do it. But just because there's pan and liquid, just because there's sauce still in the pan doesn't mean you have to use it all if you don't want to. Woo, that is amazing.